feel like I just keep getting tried. Good morning, happy Tuesday. I'm headed into work. Yesterday I also worked and I ended up staying until 5:30, which is why the vlog did not start yesterday. I ended up being the only one in yesterday, meaning that I went to all the meetings, had to do basically just everything myself. So it was a bit of a whirlwind. So today is a lot better day to start this week in the life, but it's just a half day today, which is quite exciting. And I have tomorrow off for the first time in just about a week. And so feeling good, rainy day, but not a gloomy mood, which is, it's always nice. I have survived another work week, kind of. So yesterday I was super busy because, as I mentioned, I was there all by myself. Today I was super busy because there was just so much to do, and I left at 1, so it was a half day, but I think I accomplished more in that half day than I have in like 3 days combined of previous weeks. Like, remember the days and I'd be like, yeah, I just messed around all day, I didn't do any work. That was not today. Today I did work. And it was reaching the point where I was like, I stayed an hour and a half late yesterday. I am not staying past 1 today. Like, I am leaving right at 1. And it was 12:30 and I had, I think, 6 notes to put into the system. And so I was sitting at the computer just, something took over my body, but I completed it and I left at 1. I think I clocked out at 1:01, which was perfect of me. The rest of the night tonight, since I got home, then I finished editing the previous week's vlog, and so I finished editing that, got it exported, it's currently uploading, did just a wee little bit of other YouTube work, and then I'm about to make dinner, which tonight is a turkey rice bowl with pico de gallo, I'm pretty sure. And I remembered to take the turkey out to thaw before I left for work today, so feeling like that's a win. And then after that, I'm gonna get my workout in because I did not work out Sunday or Monday because honestly I was busy and it just wasn't happening. But then today, since I feel exhausted, I think this is perfect. Today's workout is a 60 minutes Pilates strength workout from Sydney Cummings, the one who I always do my workouts from. And I feel like as long as I can stay mentally engaged, that'll be a really good workout for me today. And then I'm hoping to walk on the treadmill, get some reading in, but all that's coming up. I also have quite a few boxes and like packages that have come in, so we'll spend some time to go through those as well later tonight, just as a fun little unboxing to get the vlog going. I feel like almost all of my vlogs recently have had unboxings, which maybe I need to do some self-reflection on, but for now it's just fun. I feel like yesterday you could tell I was very much fading, and I feel like today I look like I ran a marathon and I reached the finish line, which is good that I reached the finish line, but I feel like I've worked a whole lot in the past 2 weeks, and part of that is because since I was doing those restorative justice trainings, it was like one of my off days was actually 8 hours of training, and I think I just felt the effects of that yesterday, where it was like I was so tired, and the fact that it was 2 really busy days that I was ending the week out on. And so I do feel a lot better today. I slept really well last night, but I wanted to show you the things that have arrived in the mail, the little unboxings, the little hauls that I haven't yet. And so number one, most important, that I just want to mention, and we lit it last night so you've seen it, we got the replacement for the wood wick candle. This is the one that came broken previously, which I was so bummed about because I was so excited for it. But wood wick candles, if you don't know, they're the ones that it's like literally a wood wick. Pretty self-explanatory, meaning that when you burn them, it's crackly, like a little fire, like you know, it's the sound, and it smells really good too. So very glad that that came. I also finally got my holiday order that I had ordered. I ordered this, I think October 30th, and then on October 31st, I got notification that it has shipped, and then I kept checking the tracking, and the tracking was not moving. Like, it kept being the like USPS awaiting item, like pre-shipment phase. It stayed being like that for 8 days. And this was the order that kind of hurt to make because it was a little bit expensive, just because I wanted to get more things. You know, I'm trying to up the skincare a little bit. So after the 8 days, that email was like, is it possible to check the status of this, because like what's going on? It hasn't moved at all. And they were like, I think your package probably got lost, and so they sent a replacement, which I was very thankful for. But that arrived, and it arrived to the delivery agent that my apartments use, which is so bad. Like, it's so bad. They're rated less than 1 star on Google reviews, which is tough to do. I feel like that's really tough to reach. but I got notice that it arrived to that delivery agent, and then I never heard from them. Usually they're pretty quick within like texting and being like, okay, you have a package, it's scheduled to deliver to your apartment and between this hour and this hour. And I didn't get that text from them for 36 hours. And so then I was all stressed of like, so the first package got lost and this is the replacement, and now the replacement supposedly got lost because I'm not hearing that it got delivered. But then it finally arrived on Sunday, a full 2 weeks after when it was supposed to. Not at the fault of Haldi, just at the fault of, I don't know, mail systems doing something. But the two things I got that I'm very excited for, first is this Youth to the People Super Berry Hydrate and Glow Dream Oil, just because I was out of the oil that I had been using, and I like using an oil. I just think it's fun and it feels good. Makes it feel like a spa, you know? And so I got that one. So far I've liked it. It's more dry than my previous oil was, but maybe that's going to be good for me. We'll see. And then the second one is kind of big. I got a retinol treatment. So they said that this one was good for like beginners because it's not super strong, but it's a vitamin A serum with 0.5% retinol. It's from Alpha H, the brand. As always, the Haldi link is linked down below if you want to take your little personalized quiz to get some good skincare recommendations that are exactly what you want them to be. That link is always down there, and just make sure you let them know that I sent you. So I used the retinol for the first time 2 nights ago, so I'll use it again tonight. So obviously I'm just hoping that it's good. Like I'll just be consistent with it and we'll see what comes from that. Next, I want a little book from a Goodreads giveaway, and so I have a lot of books right now, like from the library and from giveaways that I'm trying to read, but this one I think will be kind of cool. It's The Double Life of Benson Yu, and it goes on sale April 18th 2023, so this is like super advanced readers copy, but basically it's a metafiction, so it's like about a story, and it's a graphic novelist who's losing control of his own narrative. So he's trying to write a polished retelling of his fraught upbringing in the 1980s Chinatown, but it's like stuff starts happening with that story as he's trying to tell it. So I've got a while, I've got until April to read this, but it's definitely out of my comfort zone. Like, it's very different than anything I would usually read, but also it's pretty short, so that's kind of exciting, I guess. The book that I'm currently reading is an advanced reader's copy, but this one actually came out September 6th, so it's out by now, but it's People Person by Candace Carty Williams, and this one's like a pretty cute one. It's not page turning or anything, and this one's also very different than the ones I have been reading lately because it's very much like about relationships and the characters, and it's just like a contemporary fiction. But it's 5 half siblings who all share the same father, but their father is like not involved super at all, except for one time whenever they're kids. He like drives to all their houses, piles them all up in his gold Jeep, and has them all meet each other. And he's like, all right, these are all your half siblings. Just want to make sure you know that so that when you grow old, you know who you're related to. And then that's it for a while until they're young adults. And one of the siblings gets into a bit of a sticky situation, and she doesn't feel like she has anyone to call. And then it occurs to her that she should call her half siblings. So they all come running, and it's just kind of a book of like, one, getting through the sticky situation, but then also like their relationships as they're growing. And it's all right. We'll see what I feel like at the end. I think I'm gonna try to finish it this morning because I only have a little bit left, probably like an hour's read's worth or so left. And this morning I'm trying to take it calm, take it chill, because I have my second laser hair removal appointment, which we'll talk about later, but that's what's coming up this morning. The last package though is from Comrade. If you remember them with the socks, they are compression socks, and they just sent me new ones. So these ones are recycled cotton, green. It's honestly been a second since I've worn the compression socks because I kind of forgot about them, but I'm going to start again. Try to do good for my body, my joints, my circulation. I'll sit and read for a little bit and we'll catch up before my appointment. Okay, I need to give people more credit because after my first laser session, I was like, that didn't even hurt. Like one time after my first one, I had to bite my lip. And I was like, why? Whenever I was looking up TikToks, were people saying, oh, like it hurts so bad, but it's so worth it. This time, I gotta say, it hurt more. It definitely hurt more. I was like sweating, biting my lip, but it wasn't at all bad. And it is so much better than a wax still. So still feeling worth it. If you didn't watch the vlog where I had my first appointment, so this is my second appointment out of 10 at Mile Laser Removal, which I do really like, and I very am glad to be getting this process done. But I'm getting my underarms and the land down under, and it did hurt. It did hurt more today, and they like gave me aloe afterwards, so I like slathered myself up in aloe, and we'll just kind of see in the coming days. I'm just really looking forward to not having the shaving. But honestly, I noticed even so much of a difference after my first session, and that was just the first one, which just makes me then excited for the ones that are to come. But Half Price Books is right nearby, and so I'm going to go book shopping because I feel like I deserve it. Last time I went to Half Price Books, I ended up getting like 2 things, and one was that crossword book that I really liked, so I kind of want to see if they have another crossword book, but also just kind of give myself some chill time. And I asked today because I don't know why I would have thought it would be the same from the first to the 10th session, but I asked today and it does get more intense each time, and so it feels more intense each time. So I'm at 2 right now. But we have until December to worry about it, so I'm not worrying about it. I'm not sure yet which day I'm gonna do this, but I think I need to have a Christmas day, like getting in the spirit. And so part of what goes with that, I just spent $22 at Half Price Books. I got another crossword book because I think that's fun, and I've been having, that's like been my mindful activity lately. I kind of slowed down on them a little bit, but just like turning on an audiobook and doing a crossword, or watching YouTube videos and doing a crossword is like the perfect amount of stimulation for me, which I love. I got a little Christmas book just because it was $2, but it was rated 4.3 stars on Goodreads, so I was like, okay, little Christmas book. And then I also got a puzzle that I'm very excited for and might be starting today, maybe. I'm gonna have to find a place that I'll be able to work on it, but I don't want to get it done too fast, but I'm gonna do my puzzle. But I think maybe Saturday or Sunday of this week can be my like set up the Christmas tree, curate some good Christmas vibes, because remember, this is the first Christmas that I will be away from home for, and so really trying to bring the Christmas spirit into me here in Atlanta. Happy Thursday morning. I'm about to be headed into work. I woke up early this morning and worked on my puzzle again, and then I also had a little bit of leftover YouTube work from yesterday that I didn't have the mental energy to get done, that I got done, so I was up at 5 and I've been up and at 'em today. I am definitely hoping for a less crazy busy day today, but I just don't see that being the case because since I've been caught up with other things the past few days, I need to get counseling sessions in, and the fact that we have our meeting this morning means that there's less time to do those sessions, and that I also need to get the notes, and so I feel like today is going to be another crazy busy day. But I'm gonna make sure to get out on time. That's definitely a priority, and I'll catch you after. Off of work, honestly, not a good day. I had an impromptu meeting, so I ended up leaving late. It is currently 4:50, and I have a Zoom call, like a brand collab Zoom call in 9 minutes, starting in 9 minutes, and I'm starving, and it was an awful day, and I feel like I just keep getting tried. I'll catch in with you whenever I have more positive things to talk about. How's that? Okay, I'm ready to talk about it. I got a comment the other day that was asking like what I specifically do in my job, because I think lots of times I'll like judge the day good or bad, or give various like, oh, I went to meetings, or oh, I did documentation, or oh, I see clients today, without going too deep into what I do. Part of that is purposeful, kind of like bridging the line with confidentiality, you know, because I'm never going to like state a crisis that I intervened with on the day that it happened, just because, you know what I mean, like, because then it becomes less hypothetical than than if I'm like, oh, sometimes I deal with this. So I'm going to try to give more specifics to the amount that I can without crossing any kind of client respect line of respecting their stories, you know. But I guess it's the perfect time to get into that whenever we're discussing the bad day that I had. Basically, for me personally, there are some days that are emotionally tough due to things that are going on with my clients. And that's not like bad on them at all, but you know, just sometimes whenever someone opens up and allows you into their world of emotion and their world of what's going on, obviously that can take an emotional toll on like me as the clinician as well. And so with that, lots of the clients that I have are going through grief, whether it is people that they lost and never kind of took the time or had a safe enough place to go through the process of grief whenever they were on the outside, and it just starts to show up once they are locked up. Sometimes that's a super common thing that we go through. Sometimes clients will start having suicidal ideation that they maybe have never had before, but being in jail is a risk factor for that. And so sometimes whenever I'm talking about crisis intervention, it is that type of crisis intervention, being able to talk to someone when they are feeling that ideation, or even sometimes when they have true intent or they have a true plan, whatever it may be. A lot of my job is working with those types of risks, which I never talk about on the days that it does happen, because like I said, I'm not trying to tell any of my client stories because those are theirs to tell. But sometimes that can be why a day is busy. Now with these situations, that's never like whenever I'm like, oh, I had a bad day. It's not these situations. I'm just meaning like these are the type of things that can make my day busy. Sometimes, and this is super common, clients will have real trouble adjusting to the facility. And like, of course, it's jail. They're kids. They're away from their families. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, there's definitely some reckoning, you know, of just being away from your home, your safe places, your safe people, all of that, being away from connection to the outside world for real. There's a lot of adjustment that comes with that. And so people can feel depressed and they've never felt depressed before. They can feel anxiety and they've never felt anxiety before. And all of that is on top of things that mental health wise they would already be going through in the community. Sometimes clients go through things that are tough with their court cases, whether it's just having to come to terms with a future that they never would have chosen for themselves, but that they're now facing due to crimes that they committed. And there's various steps along the court process that is really tough, you know, where it's like you can hold some hope that maybe you'll get less time, or maybe your charges will get dropped, or maybe they won't have enough evidence or anything. But anytime that a step gets further in the court system, it just becomes more and more hard to deal with the fact lots of times that they may be facing true serious time in prison. Those are just some examples of many that whenever I say I have a busy day, lots of times they can be handling things like that. And so that's a lot of what comes up in session. And then obviously documenting everything with the safety things I mentioned, like whenever clients have suicidal ideation or if they've ever actually taken an act to hurt themselves while in the facility, that requires obviously a lot of documentation as well as lots of, you know, counseling, debriefing, figuring out where they're at, supporting, encouraging, being there for them. Those are all the busy days. Anytime that I say a day is bad or that I don't like a day, it has never thus far been because of the kids, because of my clients. Lots of times it's just due to the bureaucratic nature of the criminal justice system and the mass incarceration that goes on, and the fact that there's some dissonance even with my position in that secure facilities top priority is always going to be safety and security, which makes sense because that's what jails and prisons are built for. But the fact that mental health doesn't perfectly fit into that, because it's like if these people weren't in jail, their mental health problems would be a lot easier for them to cope with. And so it's like that clash is whenever I'm having a bad day. Lots of times it's the fact that I kind of have to fight for being able to do my job while at my job, which is take that extra energy, especially because obviously like any session I have needs to be confidential, so it needs to be in a confidential room. But I can't just go get my clients and bring them to a room that's confidential. That takes other staff, and there's obviously a lot going on. Like they go to school, they have leisure, they have visitation, like they have just so many things going on that lots of times mental health isn't always prioritized, which makes sense because they have a lot going on. But obviously since I am mental health, then I wish that it would be prioritized. Those clashes are the ones then that whenever I'm like, oh, today was a bad day, like yesterday, it's stuff like that kind of coming to the surface where it's like, why do I have to fight to do my job when I've been hired to do my job? You know what I mean? I hope that gave a little bit further explanation and debrief about my bad day yesterday. Yesterday is the next day, if that wasn't clear by saying yesterday. Yesterday when I got home, I made dinner and I did my puzzle and I listened to an audiobook. So that was some good, just like being out in the real world time, you know, living my actual lifetime. And I felt a lot better today. Today was another very busy day just due to the fact that we've been lower on staff, and so that means that I've been having to do more in a day. And since I'm working on speaking tad bit bit more specific. That just means filling out paperwork while doing rounds, like checking on kids that need to be checked on, filling out the paperwork for that, handling any kids that may be showing any kind of like emotional distress while in their room. And by handling, I mean spending the time to sit down and talk to them. I guess handling is not a good verb for that. I want to get across the fact that I do try to spend a lot of my day with the kids as much as I can and try to give as much support as I can. I had 3 counseling sessions today. I had a follow-up with a kid who had previously been experiencing suicidal ideation, just to check on with them and see what's going on now, be able to support them through that. I administered psychiatrist appointments because they come via telehealth, and so obviously there needs to be someone that's helping out with that, that's actually physically there. So I did that. I went to 2 meetings. I did not document everything yet. That's gonna have to be a later thing. Called some parents because we just like to keep them up to date, especially since I work with minors, and so obviously the parent stays in on that, stays in on the loop, and that was the busyness of today. So hope that gives like a little bit of a better picture of what actually kind of goes on in my day. I will try to take note of that and be better at that going forward. This was a funky vlog, funky vibes, but I feel like I keep saying that about all the vlogs, so maybe we just need to start expecting funky vibes. However, I did really enjoy last week's vlog, so that one was pretty good, and I think I'm gonna enjoy the vlog that I'm gonna make tomorrow, which is going to be the one that I was mentioning about just doing like all kinds of holiday things, putting up my tree. I forget what else, but anything else that I mentioned holiday like, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Overall though, love you, appreciate you, hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time.